Good morning. I'm Chulakorn Masatienwong from Ramjiti Institute and Princess Mahachakrin Foundation. Today, I will talk about COVID-19 pandemic perspectives, experience at schools, villages, and family level, and best practices from Thailand and Southeast Asian countries. In terms of the background, during the past 2 years, the pandemic of COVID has significantly affected people all over the world, and the education sector is nonetheless. A number of children are affected by the situation. In this respect, the Princess Mahachakri Foundation has carried out a number of studies and making sure that we are able to capture best practices from Thailand, ASEAN countries, and including Timor-Leste to share experience. In terms of the impacts of COVID-19, this is the latest update based on Johns Hopkins University analysis. These are also the numbers of new cases on a daily basis on Thailand, and Thailand has already experienced several waves, resulting in school closures. And in the chart, you can see that schools reopened briefly, but students were not able to go to school due to the spread of the disease. Resulting impacts also include greater disparities, especially for children in poor families and in lower income households, and children in these situations are likely to be greatly affected compared to children in general. Also, due to school closures, this has resulted in learning loss and loss of opportunities for continuing education. And this has also resulted in greater number of dropouts or out of school children, and there are likely to be more children who have dropped out, and they may not re-enter the schooling system or the education sector even post the COVID period. I will now talk about key initiatives relating to the education sector, especially in various levels and across the spectrum. We are seeing that at the school or area levels, there are, let's say, frontline teachers who work in collaboration and in close collaboration with students. They have to provide additional support to students on the ground. And one of these teacher groups being the teachers in the Border Patrol schools, and they are located in various areas of the countries, especially in the border areas and hard to reach areas. These teachers and schools are being supported by the distribution of relief kits from the Princess Mahachakrin Foundation and the Fund for Education from Princess Mahachakri Foundation as well. In the previous picture, you can see a teacher in a Border Patrol school who is also teaching during this difficult period. And also we have Glomjit Don Pirom, who is located in Kalasin province. The teacher works in collaboration with communities to engage community participation. And you can see on the slide areas in which these teachers have been working in. I will give you additional examples. In terms of teacher practices, they have to come up with a variety of ways to engage with students and to ensure that students can learn in this difficult time. One good example is that they work towards building life skills and basic skills that are relevant for the needs of the student during this time. One good example is Kru Suthep Theng Prakit, who is the recipient of the Princess Mahachakrin Foundation Award in 2019. In his school of Klong Nam Sai area in Yatla, the teacher also works towards ensuring the health and hygiene and safety of children, taking precautions at the same time along with teaching. Other than that, Kru Sumitra Grinbukha, who is located in Kampang Phet, is also engaged with ethnic minorities and ethnic communities to ensure that mother tongue-based education can be carried out during this difficult time, especially in areas where connectivity and power supplies are limited. In addition to a wealth of methods and deliveries that are and can be carried out and provided, we need to focus on area-based self-learning in which literacy and numeracy skills are being promoted. And this is especially useful in remote areas, in locations where schools are distantly located, and also literacy and numeracy skills are lagging behind. And this is done in collaboration with a network of teachers in the areas. So this is a good example to reflect that mobilization of existing on-the-ground resources can be instrumental to ensure learning. We also have a variety of online and hybrid learning in place. And one shared common practice is the online and hybrid learning. So full-scale online learning can be carried out in schools in which students are capable and have access to connectivity and devices. And for example, Kru Su Prasert Jantin in Nakhon Si Thammarat province, he is teaching in a boarding school. Therefore, they are able to make use of the connectivity and online resources. Therefore, full-scale online learning is up and running together with M&A practices being adopted. Mobile learning is another approach that is being adopted, especially in rural areas. And this is also coupled with the relief kits that are supplied by the foundation. The learning box is one example of how innovation is adopted in Ma Tang area of Chiang Mai province. This is a rural area and located in the mountains. So around 80% of students in this area do not have television, smartphones, or internet. Therefore, they will have to rely on on-hand materials. And most recently, there is another effort that has been made, mobile learning trucks. And this is being spearheaded in Khon Kaen,ศรีสะเกษ Kalasin, and Chiang Mai. And they have organized themselves into the teacher community group and being supported by Thammasat University. So mobile learning truck will deliver learning supplies, devices, materials, and also activities to encourage learning with children on the ground. Similar approaches have also, Dr. Sadat Min Danang from the Philippines is also undertaking a similar approach using the push card knowledge and with 5 components in place, encouraging learning, providing hand hygiene, education, and also providing necessary supplies for the children and their families. In terms of policy advocacy in Thailand, there are protocols and procedures relating to school closures and school reopening. Our latest measure is to designate zones for school reopening and school closing, and it will also encompass measures to be carried out for precautions in schools which have reopened. The government office has put together the resolution to provide additional subsidies to students and their families. For example, internet connectivity subsidy, the relief allowance to families in situations. And also schools being covered include formal and non-formal education, and also for monk schools and other types of schools, not only for formal education. And we have seen a similar effort being undertaken in various countries. For example, ensuring flexibility in curriculum design, curriculum delivery, and learning time, and also making use of a variety of technology devices and making sure that relevant curriculum content is being promoted, for example, on COVID studies or making use of the home learning package. And you can see examples from other countries in which hybrid blended learning and various methods of pedagogic are being carried out. These are more examples as well. And to conclude on the last part of my presentation, I will share with you challenges and next steps towards improvement of the education in the light of COVID. So first of all, the focus is on having a wealth of teaching approaches and pedagogies in place for class delivery, and it is not to be confined within the space of a classroom. An example of an initiative carried out by Mr. Sanuddin Shah Career from Malaysia. The project is called Fabulous Asian ASEAN Breakfast, in which participating ASEAN countries, including Timor-Leste, have engaged in the project. So technology is being used to underscore continuous learning, and also coupled with on-air, on-demand, and on-hand learning to provide additional learning opportunities to learners who are engaged in the project. On top of that, as home learning is being emphasized and pretty much the new normal at this time, it is necessary that learning from home has to be effective and has to ensure that parents are actively engaged, and learning can also be fun, and the learning environment is attractive enough for students who are learning from home. And we have found that parents play a critical role in promoting home-based learning and to ensure learning engagement at home. And we need to build more capacity on the skills of parents to support the learning of their children. And lastly, the transitioning between pre-primary, primary, and for the secondary education, we need to keep track on the progress of learnings, of developments of children, especially for early childhood education. And early childhood is a very important step early in life. Therefore, we need to prepare them and engage with them and stimulate their learnings early on, together with providing nutritional subsidies to ensure that they are able to grow well physically and cognitively. From Timor-Leste, in which the Association School Collaboration or AC project has been up and running. So teachers are engaged with learners and also their parents to simulate learning and developments of early childhood children early on. And in various countries, including Thailand, it is also found that in addition to examination-based assessment, we are now relying on observation-based or competency-based assessment. Therefore, we can rely on more behavioral evidence and exhibition, in addition to solely focusing on examination or traditional assessments that we are accustomed to. The next item is in terms of learning in emergencies, and this will focus on the aspect of communication between various stakeholders, being teachers, students, and also parents. Now, communication channels are mainly from digital channels or even making use of telephones and limited interaction. Therefore, teachers will have to improve their interaction with parents to ensure that they are able to provide relevant learning support to students and also to the parents when they are supporting their children as well. In addition to area-based communication, interagency policy making must be in place across various government agencies and across horizontal and vertical levels. So in addition to working from home for parents, children will have to learn from home as well. This is a major challenge for us to tackle and address going forward. And we need to build capacity not only of teachers, but also for the parents, and ensure that policies have well reflected these challenges, and we are able to close the gaps so that we can build the capacity of our students so that they can become quality human resources in the future. We are not sure how much longer the situation will persist, but we believe that we have to keep evolving over time and making further adjustments as we go along. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much.